Kia ora, good morning everyone, Richard Wong here. Welcome back to the channel. As a camera and tech channel reviewer, I receive lots of email every week from different companies asking me to review different gears. One of the most frequently requested review item is LED light, especially the small pocketable LED light. I receive a request pretty much every few days, but I turn down most of them because a lot of them are just very similar, to be honest. But when Weeylite contacted me recently and asked if I'm interested in reviewing the S03 LED light, so as usual I had a look at the specs and information, and I agreed to review it because there are a few things about this light that got me interested. Some are really good things and some I'm not too sure, so I thought I should check it out and see whether it really is a good light or not. I feel this Weeylite S03 could be better than some of the more expensive lights in the market, and I'll explain to you why very soon. And before we start, just a quick disclaimer. Weeylite sent me the samples for this review, but as usual, this is a completely independent review, so I will share with you the things I like and don't like about this LED light. Okay, let's start by having a look at the design of the Weeylite S03 first. Weeylite S03 is a 4-watt RGB LED light. They are RGB, white and warm white light bits on the LED panel to allow you to choose pretty much any color output and also any white light between 2800 to 6800K. The price of this light is just under $30, which make it one of the cheapest LED light in the market. Look at the size, it is pretty small, very pocketable. Even though there is a 1000 mAh built-in rechargeable battery, the weight is only 72 grams, so it is very lightweight. However, one reason why it is so lightweight is because this light is mostly made of plastic, so it definitely feels a bit flimsy and very plasticky. This light comes in 4 different colors: glaze blue, vibrant orange, snowy white, and minimalist gray. I don't know who started the trend to give color some really fancy name, but anyway, I think all the 4 different colors are all quite nice. Having multiple colors choice is great because if you are buying more than one, then you can pick one from each different color to make it easy for you to tell which light that you are controlling. In terms of user controls, well, there really isn't much on the light itself. You have an on-off switch and that's pretty much it. There isn't any other buttons, dials or display, nothing. The only other thing that you can find is a little LED light that is hidden behind it to tell you the status of the light. There is also a USB-C connector on the side and a mounting screw hole at the bottom. Luckily, the mounting screw hole is made of metal, and the light also comes with a little mounting adapter that you can use to mount this light on a camera's hot shoe mount. Oh, there's also a little hole at the bottom here, so you can put a string or something through it to hold the light. But that's it, very simple design. And the reason is because the light completely rely on the smartphone app to control it. You need to download the app called Weeylte Pro from the Android or iOS app store to use the light. I usually prefer to have some physical controls on the light as it's the quickest way to control the lights. So that was really my biggest question mark about this Weeylite S03. I'm not too sure whether it is a good idea or not to not have any kind of physical controls on the light. Maybe Weeylite has gone a little bit too far, removing all the controls to save costs. But after using the S03 for a few weeks, I say it is okay. I definitely still prefer if it has some physical controls, but at the same time I didn't find it too big a problem. It's because the app is quite well designed. The interface is simple to use and very responsive, and you have a range of different ways to control the light. You have the usual CCT, HSL, or the individual RGB WY slider. You can also choose to pick a color from the RGB color space or one of the Roscoe or Lee color, but my favorite is definitely the color picker feature, which you can just point your phone's camera to an object or a light source and the app will copy that color for you. So it's a very easy way to get your lights to emit the same color as another light source or the same color as an object in your scene. The brightness of the light can be adjustable from 0% to 100% in 1% increment, so that's great. Having said that, even at 1%, the light is still pretty bright. I wish at 1% it is a little bit dimmer. There are 16 different lighting effects that you can choose, and you can fine-tune the speed and intensity of each effect as well. So yeah, there are lots of different ways to choose the color or effect you want for the S03 light. However, one thing I don't really like is if you are switching between different modes to set the color or the power of the light, the app doesn't carry over the settings from the previous mode and would override the setting from the new mode you just selected. So for example, if you go into CCT mode and selected 5500K full power, then if you go into HSL mode, instead of continuing with the previous color and brightness from the CCT mode, it will completely change to a different value. I do not know if this is a conscious design decision by Weeylite, but I was annoyed by this quite a bit, especially when I have just picked a color and just want to fine tune it a little bit, but went into the different mode and it just changed my settings completely. Now the good thing is I could go back to the mode that I was using before to get back my previous settings, but it's still a bit annoying and not what I expected. But fortunately, this is pretty much the only thing I don't like about the app. If you got more than one light, you can assign your light to different groups. So there are 6 different groups in total, and this is actually another thing I really like about this app. Connecting the light to the app and assigning to a group is super easy and very quick. Basically, you just need to start the app, select the group that you want in the app first, then turn on the light, and the light will connect to the app pretty much straight away and also assign to the group that you have currently selected in the app. You can add more lights to the same group if you want, or you can then switch to another group and connect the other lights to the different group. So it's a super quick and easy process, and that makes me don't mind so much having to use the app to control the light. Once you connected a few lights and set them up, you can also store the settings as a scene, so you can reuse it next time and not having to reset up everything again. According to Weeylite, the maximum brightness of the S03 is 350 lux at 0.5 meter, 5500K temperature. It has a 95 plus RA index and the TLCI rating is 97 plus. If you are not very familiar with these ratings, basically it means the quality of this light is very decent, especially if you consider the budget price. But it is also not the brightest light in the market. But if you use it indoor or after dark, then the light can help you light up a small scene quite well. If you mount it on the camera hot shoe mount, this is great for doing close-up scenes no matter you are doing vlogging or shooting interviews or similar kind of video. And the best thing is, it is not very heavy at all, so the camera won't feel top heavy if you mount it on top of your camera. But remember, this is a RGB light, so it's not just lighting up the scene. You can choose different colors to light up your scene in more creative ways. For example, you can use different color lights to create different moods for portrait or light up your scene in many different ways. Now remember at the beginning I said this light could be better than the more expensive lights in the market. The reason I said that is not because it is technically a better or brighter light than the more expensive lights in the market. It's just because if you have a limited budget, as most of us don't have unlimited money in our bank, say if you only want to spend $100 for lighting, you could use all the budget on one light. So for example, you could get the Weeylite RB9, which is about $100, and it is a RGB light. The light is brighter and has more features than the S03. However, you can only have one light, as it uses up all your budget. So instead of that, you could get 3 S03 lights with $10 spare, or if you're happy to spend $20 more, you can get 4 S03 lights. So with 4 lights, you just have a lot more flexibility in terms of how you set up your scene. For example, a few weeks ago, I need some product photos for my Panasonic Lumix GH6 review, so I used these S03 lights to light up the scene for my product photos. Because these lights are so light, so I attached 2 of them onto my microphone boom arm and used them to create some overhead backlight for the product shot. Then I placed one S03 to the camera right to add a bit of light from the right side, and then I add one more S03 to the camera left to light up the lens on the GH6. So it is nothing really fancy, a pretty basic 3-point lighting setup that I use very often, but as you can see, I need at least 3 lights for this effect. Now, I didn't stop there because these are RGB lights, so the next thing I did is play with the colors, and that allowed me to create some more interesting lighting effect by using and combining different colors from each of these S03 lights. So can I do that with a single light? Definitely not, no matter how good the light is. And that's why I think a budget light like this Weeylite S03 can actually be better than the more expensive lights if you want to be more creative with your lighting setup but has a limited budget. The Weeylite S03 has a built-in 3.7 volt 1000 mAh battery, and you can charge it by using the USB-C port on the side of the light. Charging time is approximately 3 hours, and according to Weeylite, the battery can last about an hour when running at full power, which isn't too bad. As usual, I did a test to see if the battery life is close to the claimed figure or not. So I set up 2 lights, one running at full power at 5500 K temperature and the other at 50% power. Both lights were fully charged when I start the test. The light running at full power ended up last 1 hour 47 minutes before it shut down, which is way more than the factory claimed figure, which is only 1 hour. And for the light running at 50% power, the battery lasts about 2 hours 46 minutes. With the last few minutes, the light was a bit dimmer than normal. But yes, this is definitely really good. Not only better than the official figure, but also better than what I expected. And if you need longer running time, you can just connect the light to a USB power source and you can run it as long as you want. I do have one little complaint about the battery because there is no LCD display on the light, and the app also does not display the battery status. So the only way to know about the battery status is by looking at the small LED light on the side. The little LED light would light up and flash at different way depends on the battery status, so you can know whether the battery is full, half full or almost empty, but nothing really precise. And that LED light is also not really easy to see when you're using it in a bright area. So yeah, I'm not quite sure if it's something that is technically possible, but if we can see the remaining battery life of each light in the app, that would be really awesome. As a budget LED light that costs just under $30, there are many things to like about this Weeylite S03. It is a RGB WW light that covers all the different colors and different white colors. It's super compact and lightweight. The Weeylte Pro App is also very easy to use and quick to connect. The battery life is also pretty amazing. On the downside, the build quality is very plasticky. It's surely not the brightest LED light that I've ever used, and I really wish there is a better battery life indicator. But for new content creators that don't have any LED lights at all, this Weeylite S03 provides a very affordable way to build up a flexible and easy to use lighting system without having to spend a lot of money.